is February 5th, 2025, and we're talking to Adam Monaco. You want to introduce yourself, what you do?
I'm a songwriter at Philadelphia, and I write songs and play multiple instruments, and I also do a lot of organizing of things, throughout the city and stuff. So yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
What kind of music would you say you play, if you had to kind of put a label on it?
Whenever people ask, and I don't know if it's accurate, I'm just like, I'm a folky songwriter guy. I kind of do the downplay it thing. Just like write songs, and I have an acoustic guitar.
Yeah.
And I play mandolin, and also a little bit of bass and drums and banjo and piano and different things. But when I'm like playing music, like my live shows, it's usually between guitar and mandolin.
Cool. What are your main musical influences?
It's cool. It's like it changes, right? But I would say, growing up, I guess I'll just start like the few that I've had from just growing up. Like I was always into Paul Simon. Love Paul's one of the best songwriters, and I listened to this band James a lot. I'm of the 80s, so The Cure, the Smiths, the list goes on, but I really loved the band James. I don't know if you know who they are, but they sang that, the one that's like popular here in America is the song Laid. This bed is on fire with passion and love. Do you ever hear it? It's okay. It's like a did you ever see the movie American Pie?
No.
Okay, yeah, check that out and you'll hear it.
We're culturally illiterate.
Yeah, no. It's totally cool. And they didn't come out here a lot, so like I went out to Europe for a month to just follow them around, because you go out there and they like sell out like a Wembley Arena, and like here they just it wasn't very big.
Where are they from?
From England. Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah, so it was.
What am I thinking?
Yeah.
Some Finnish guy named James.
Well, it's funny. It's a band too. The guy's name is Tim. It's just there's a whole story of their name, but and then I loved, like, just as time went on, loved Donnie DeFranco. Now it's like I'm Gregorian Isakov fan of, and what else? I like the Bahamas. They're fun to listen to, and Lord Huron is great. And I still listen to Paul Simon.
Yeah.
And James and The Cure and the Smiths. So yeah.
Awesome. How long have you been playing music?
I started writing. I played the saxophone, and I always liked creating and writing. So I started writing songs on the saxophone. I was like the only kid in like elementary school that was like, when they had the big concerts, like they'd be like, we have a solo performance by Adam Monaco. It's a song you wrote. And it was just like a really bad like song on the saxophone, but I just loved writing and I wanted to make up my own stuff.
Yeah.
And then I started playing the guitar, and I just taught myself chords, and I would say by like 14 I started writing songs with words and trying to sing, and then through ninth grade and like high school, I was just putting on shows and setting up shows. So I guess we're the community like organizing thing. I was renting out fire halls at like 15 and being like, hey, let's throw a show, and I'd get all the bands, and then they'd all walk with like a few $100 a piece, and they'd be like, what, we made money, I just like loved setting up shows and getting everyone together and making things happen.
Are you from Philly?
I was born in Freeport, Long Island, New York. I lived out near Allentown, like Macungie, for like a while, and then now I moved to Philly in 2002, so I feel like I've been in Philly longer than anywhere.
Yeah.
So I've just been in the
Yeah.
Philly music scene since 2002. Yeah.
Very
Awesome.
cool.
What
Wow.
have you noticed, like, changes in the scene, like, between 2002 and now?
That's a great question. What has happened? Well, I've watched a lot of venues close. The community, you know, the Philly community has always been, I've always loved it. It's like, it's a big city, it's small, it feels small. It's like everyone is kind to each other, everyone like knows each other, and I feel like I do feel it, I don't know, so that aspect of it is so, it just felt the same, you know? But a lot of venues like coming and going.
So you've been writing and performing music for a very long time. How do you eventually come around to like recording and releasing your music?
Yeah, so I'm actually at an interesting point in my life right now where I was recording records and doing things, but I never released them. I never like, I would do it and I was like, no, this isn't it. And I was probably not a great thing, you know, to like, so I have like boxes of things, you know, sitting because I just didn't feel like super ready. And the things I did kind of have up, I took down, and I'm in this kind of starting over phase. But typically I would I always found myself in situations where maybe people were like building studios and they needed like, hey, I'm building this studio, and I'm like, hey, like, do you want to practice recording me? And we were just like, we'll make it, even if it takes a really long time. I've also saved money and gone in and worked with different producers and done, you know, different things. And then I ended up buying my own home studio, and I record a lot on my own. And
Nice.
the two songs that are released now, one I had an investor who is interested in my career, and it's like kind of this new phase that's going on right now. And I have like putting together a team of people to help me. So the one song, Nevermind, that's out, that was recorded at Rittenhouse Soundworks, one of my favorite studios in the city. And then the mandolin instrumental song was done at home and sounds, I like recording my instrumental stuff I make at home, and then like going into the studio. So in and out of a lot of studios and recording. And I usually have a collection of songs that kind of all birth around the same time, and then I just go ahead and I'm like, all right, I need to record them, and then I just let them sit. And but that's done now. Now I'm like I'm getting ready to release.
Nice.
I'm in release time. So
Cool.
yeah.
What's your songwriting process like?
I typically, you know, growing up, I always started strumming, and then I would just kind of think of things. I would feel the mood. I would just start strumming, saying words, and I feel like that process is kind of still there. I just will get a feeling on the guitar or the piano, just like, you know, and I'll just say words, and then like I start writing down things that just like sound cool, or I at least think sound cool, or something that I end up resonating with. I'm like, oh, I feel, and then the song just kind of starts to make sense to me, and then I spend a long time trying to like, you know, and then I give it space, and I'm like, oh, I'm not gonna touch it for a month, because like sometimes I'm just like too much in it, you know. So sometimes songs can take up to, you know, they might take me a year to really like get together. Then I have one that came to me just in the middle of the night, and I wrote it. I hardly edited anything, and it's like one of my favorite songs, and that happened in like an hour, maybe an hour and a half, but I now I'm trying to sit and write words more. Like, I have a friend that was just encouraging me to just, because I'm not super prolific. I don't just like pump out songs. I like have to have something. I have to be going through stuff, or not like even hard stuff. Just stuff, just or reflecting on stuff that may have happened, and then like it catches up emotionally, and then I start writing about it. But I've been like just trying to like sit and free write like the dumbest stuff, like whatever it is, the pencil's telling me to do the blah blah. Like I'll just say, I just write and like in the book, and then I just go through and I start underlining things that might like sound cool, and I'm trying to like, that wasn't always my method, but I'm normally have to have an instrument in my hand, but I wanted to see if I can just start pushing a more creative flow, and it's like been helping. I'm actually I wouldn't say that like a lot of, I don't even know, maybe like one thing has come out of it, but I also haven't gone back in a while and like went through and like read those things, because I think that's when you step away from it, it's like really cool, and you can go back and like, oh, that actually, these words together sound really cool. And I'll try to make something with it. So yeah.
Cool. Do you have any themes that you find yourself circling back to a lot in your music?
Yeah, it's usually kind of about like I'm usually like sounds like it's people stuff, humanity-ish stuff, and emotion, like self-reflection and communication, and is like stuff. Sometimes I have like friends that are going through things and they're talking about certain stuff. Like I might be triggered to like write a song about something they were experiencing, and everything always ends up relating back to you too. It's all, we're all connected. So so I would say like that's probably more. I don't write love songs. I can't. I've probably had a couple sitting in the, but I usually like to write about like, like, hey, let's write. Like, I don't know. Let's make sure we communicate with each other or something. I don't know, just stuff like that. Yeah.
Cool. I'm curious to hear a little more about your home studio as well. Like, how does your recording process work? Do you mix your own stuff like that?
A little mixture of everything. If I'm stuck, I go to someone else. If the flow's going good, I usually end up hitting a point where I'm like, you need your community, and you're like, I need help mixing this, or this just doesn't sound right. Like I can't. The guitar just sounds too piercing, and I can't EQ it to get it to a certain way, and I might need to redo it. But I've also like learned a lot through doing stuff myself, which has been really like enjoyable, and then like being able to do stuff like in the box. Like I got asked to score a documentary, and so I did my first, like over the pandemic, I did like an entire, it was like an hour long doing the music, and that was where I got to like use more in the box type sounds, and I did have some like real instruments, but I then also just did a lot of piano work and different things, and that felt easier to mix, and when you're working with some MIDI and different things, I was able to like get some good sounds, and but I liked, it's cheaper, and you could really do a lot with your home studio now. Like you really can. I still like going to a recording studio, not having to think about pushing record, not having to think about anything, and just like perform. You know, I would still kind of always choose that over getting my home studio was out of just necessity, because I wanted to record and I couldn't. You know, it was really expensive. So for like a few grand, you can build your own thing. You know.
Yeah. So then I guess going to some coffee house specific questions. We always ask everybody, do you have any pets?
Do I have any pets? No, I don't have any pets.
No creatures.
No creatures.
Yeah. I grew up with cats.
Yeah.
And like we had dogs too, but like but yeah, we always had a cat around. And a rat, a pet rat, which is really cool. We named him Percy Shelley, which was a poet.
That's a great name for a rat.
And it was a really cool rat. And I think I had little mice. I liked rats and mice. They were like fun to like have, and they just like hang out in your hand, and they get all cuddly, and they just burrow themselves and just hang out. I always like that too. So.
Next coffee house question is, what are your comforts in life?
My comforts. I love talking to new people. I love meeting new people a lot. When I was younger, my goal was to meet everybody. I was like, I want to meet everybody in the world. Just like
lofty goal.
Yeah, I know. But I'm not giving up. There's still time.
You're still working on it.
I'm still working on it. I would say, I feel comfortable overall, like just with communication and I feel comfortable eating pizza. I like pizza. I don't know.
Favorite flavor?
Yeah. Just figured I'd throw that in there.
Of course.
I love pizza.
Do you have any discomforts?
Yeah, I don't love when, I mean, there's so many discomforts, right? But like, I guess, we talked about being videoed. I don't always love being on video. Sometimes I don't always love being filmed at shows or stuff, like, because I'm always like, if it didn't go well, it's just out there for life, but I'm just like, there's nothing you can do, but I don't feel comfortable around judgmental people. And people who just think they're better than everybody else. I don't really feel comfortable around that. And I mean, there's probably a big list, but and more comfort stuff too. Love warm showers.
It's a good thing. Yeah.
So I'm curious, outside of music specifically, it sounds like you've done a lot of community organizing, various nonprofit work. You want to tell us about sort of the scope of that?
Oh yeah. Well, I guess being at a young age, loving to put together shows. I think when I moved into Philly, I just found myself being involved, and I ran it was like the Adam Monaco music variety show. This was at a place called Abilene's on South Street in the early 2000s, and it was like I had started off with comedy, and then I would just have bands, and my band would play, or I'd invite bands to play, and it was a really cool, kind of a cool thing. I hosted a lot of open mics, and different things like that. And then I got involved, like Maniac was throwing an Earth Day, and I was there organizing, getting all the bands and doing all the things, and just found myself orchestrating and different things. And then I lived in Ardmore for a minute, and I had my studio up there, and I just had like, you know, friends that needed to record, and like I would just started like leaving the key under the mat, and like just go up if I was out of town, or go up and use the studio, go up, you know. And a friend of mine, roommate, you know, at the time was like, hey, you know, kind of was like, you've been helping a bunch of people like with their recording stuff, and like kind of was like, we should think about maybe expanding this into like a thing. And so we came up with a nonprofit. We formed a nonprofit called Working While Playing, and we started it. We were in like Kensington for a moment, and someone like got shot in the building. It was like a thing, so they had shut down the building, and then we moved over to Germantown and the Kendrick Mills Loft, and started that. And it was really, I felt like I was like really like diving in there, and we built the whole thing was like people became members, and they paid like anywhere from $30 to, you know, $50 or $60 a month, and they would get hours, and we would give them a key to the space, and they got to use it like it was their own. And people, we were recording records, using it for rehearsal, for photography. It worked out to be like people were making records for $5 an hour, you know, like it was like so hundreds of records were made in these 10 years of like different people. And in return, everyone had to give 2 hours a month of community service. So we had all of our members going out and doing community work. So we just like impact on, you know, on the city. So, yeah. And caught a lot of attention, and we had a lot of members, and we had a lot going on. It was 2 of us kind of running the show, and it just became like, you know, another reason why I feel like I haven't really like released is I just got into like helping other people get their stuff done, because I like, when I struggle with something, and then I want to like help people not struggle through that. So that was kind of like, so I found myself 30-40 hours a week working with this you know, we weren't making any money, and I was gigging to survive, you know, just do the thing. And so, but it was awesome. It was awesome. And there's like so many other little random things that like got me, you know, heavily involved in my city, you know. And but the Working While Playing was definitely a really cool project, and seeing people who couldn't do things and struggle doing things be able to do the things they wanted to do, and be grateful for it, you know, just and happy. Yeah. So,
yeah. Cool. Do you have any other than music, other hobbies or anything that you like especially?
Yeah, I love like there's some newer things that have, and the reason I'm like pausing is there's some newer things that I'm like starting to think about. Like I've been wanting to get into stained glass, and like so I my wife got me a whole stained glass setup for like Christmas some time ago.
I want to go to your house.
Yeah. I have to like we ended up having to move, and I have to like set it up in the new place. But I love hosting house concerts, so I was doing this for a long time. I would once a month for years at my place in Mount Airy, I would host, you know, I'd get 35 to 40 people, everyone threw in $20. I gave all the money to an artist, and got really into like hosting and like coaching people on house concerts and stuff too, because I 90% of my shows I travel around the East Coast playing in people's homes, and like and there's stuff like that. So and I've been thinking a lot about herbal medicines lately, so I'm just like want to start. I think I'm going to try to make a garden this year and start growing things these are thoughts, you know. I just like over the winter, like oh, I want to do this. Yeah, and then I like being there for friends. I get calls where friends are going through certain relationship stuff. I'm like, I like being there. I know it sounds really dorky. It's like I hate saying it, but I know these are the things that like go on in my daily life, and I'm like, well, yeah, I like talked for a couple hours on the phone with a couple different people, or like you know, I don't know, I like just, you know, I love sitting in coffee shops and drinking coffee and bumping into strangers and you know, I don't know. Those are my hobbies. Disc golf.
Disc golf.
Nice. There's a real hobby right there. Nice. I love throwing a frisbee. So yeah.
Nice. Nearing the end of the list of questions, what kinds of things are you currently, music-wise, like working on for the future? What things are coming up?
Right now, I'm in a process where I've had some people who've been wanting to see music stuff happen for me, and I've been working on like a little business plan and getting support. I have like a little team of people that, I mean, I'm trying to raise a bunch of money right now and put it towards the operation, you know. I'm realizing like with music, you know, I've put, it's all I ever wanted to do. It's like I put my whole life into playing and writing and being involved. I mean, in community and the whole thing. And there's so many talented people, and that I'm like, why aren't they like just huge? And it's like to operate on all cylinders by yourself. I don't want to like sound negative. It's just a lot. Like just booking alone is like a you know, and so it's like, so this next stage is I'm trying to not burn out. I did so much to the point, you know, I burn out headlining the World Cafe a couple times a year, having 300 plus people down there, working hard, always putting on shows, getting people out. It's like, I hustled, you know, I hustled hard and I did it. And then like, I was like, oh gosh, like, this is so much to do as one person, setting up the shows, doing the things. So I've like stepped back, and it's interesting because I'm in this stage right now where I'm like, I'm ready to really just start releasing, because I've just been, you know, I did make records, but also part of the reasons why I didn't release them was just because I was always getting involved in sidetracking and like the nonprofits and like getting involved and doing things, and I'm like, oh, I'm not focusing on myself. I need to actually like do this. So this stage right now, I'm like really trying to like focus on my music and my art, and I have a potential support group. I don't ever like to say that it's definite, because until it's all there and you have people interested, but I just want to actually like, you know, build the team for my music and have everything kind of operating on all cylinders as much as I can, and continue to tour and play. I mean, I travel a lot and play, and I have fan bases. I collect emails like crazy. So I have like, you know, everywhere, and I've built network, and I'm just going to continue to do that. But I think I'm done trying to just do everything myself, because it's a burnout factor. And then one day I still want to be able to like help other people not feel burnout. You know, like so that's what's on the horizon right now, is releasing a bunch of music and getting help and be like, feel like, be happy, you know? In these crazy times.
Awesome.
Sorry if I gave you like so much. I'm like, I just rambled.
No, you're good.
I think the last main question is just, why are you a musician? Yeah. It's a big one.
I love performing. I like I like being. Why am I a musician? I love music. I would say like. I don't know. Growing up, like when I like loved music, or I always loved music. When I like was young and I would listen to music. That's what I would say. I would be like, I want to do this too. And I think that was like always, I just always got inspired by listening. And then I would put on little performances, and I think I really grew a love and passion for being on stage. And just like, I think that's like my favorite.
Yeah.
You know, it's like get in front of people like, hey, it goes to meet everyone in the world. Thanks for being here. We'll play some songs for you. And I like everyone feeling involved, so, and being a part of it. So I ask a lot of questions, typically, engage and things like that. So I would say I'm in it because I enjoy performance, like actual. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. Curious of other people's answers. It's like why do you do it?
Yeah.
It's interesting to hear.
I do ask myself that a lot. Why do I do this? Like,
It's one of those things that it's not easy, so everybody's got a reason.
yeah. It's probably some childhood stuff, right? Some stuff that, you know, at an outlet, you know, like some things that you're dealing with.
Cool. So then wrapping up, I guess just where can people find your stuff online?
Oh yeah, they can go to adammonaco.com, or they can go to my Instagram, Adam Monaco Music, or Facebook, Adam Monaco Music, Spotify, Adam Monaco, YouTube, Adam Monaco.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
Yeah. They can go to the places, and I have a few things out, a couple things out now, and hopefully this record will be done in a couple months, and I can start the process of releasing. But you can enjoy the two things that are out now, and you can put them on repeat if you want.
Awesome.
Yeah, no pressure.
Thank you for talking with us.
Thanks for having me.
Different minds and finding graces, lineage from different places. Never mind, never mind. Sit alone and bide my time, turning pages line by line. Cup of tea instead of wine. Never mind, never mind.